Most people going into 2026 are going to miss out on this vital piece of information that could set them off in completely the wrong direction as they set their goals for the new year. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you about the art of reflection and how to reflect in a way that actually gives you more clarity and confidence so you can set goals that actually build on the success that you've already had from the year before, and maybe focus on the areas you've forgotten. In this video, I'm going to be including how we often forget key pieces of the puzzle when we're only reflecting on the moments that have just gone, and how to see running themes in your life, your subconscious patterns that you weren't even aware of, and how to create intentions for the year ahead that feel motivating and inspiring to help you succeed moving forward. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lucy, a mindset coach, and I help you to understand yourself better, get unstuck, and help you to grow a life from the inside out, to live a life on your terms and one that you really want. If you want practical advice from someone who's been there and literally gone from a life where I was miserable to one that I love, please subscribe to my channel. Right, so everybody talks about this new year, new me, setting goals for 2026. But so many people miss this vital piece of information. And honestly, it is one of the most detrimental things to growth, especially if you're looking to make big shifts in your life. Being on social media in the new year means you're constantly bombarded with this new year, new me content, people talking about their morning routines, people talking about the things that you really need to do to start your year right. So you endlessly try without asking the magic question. Why? Why am I doing this? And the sad thing is, so many people are striving to be seen as the best version of themselves, of the most productive version of themselves, as the person that seems to be doing everything. But at the same time, they're walking around on autopilot because they don't know what they actually need to focus on that is tailored to them. And this happened to me about 3 years ago. I sat down and I ran through the year for each individual part of my life. And I realized that there was a common theme. I was trying to escape. I was trying to run away from all areas. And at that point in my life, I felt so stuck and I didn't really know what action to take. But looking back and starting to see these patterns and starting to see that I was stuck in all of these areas, it started to remind me and started to show me where I had dropped the ball for myself and where I had started to leave parts of myself behind. And then I was able to set intentions on what to focus on first, where to go back to basics to help me decide to where I wanted to go next. And if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't have realized that I was massively avoiding something in my life. So this isn't about striving forwards today. It isn't about setting goals. It's about looking back. It's about looking back at the small moments that you forgot or the things that you've overlooked and starting to see the patterns. Because here's the thing, our subconscious runs 90% of the show. So when we're in it, we often can't see the pieces of gold that can help us get to the other side. So this is why reflection is so key for growth, and it helps us understand and tell a new story about something that in the moment might have been filled with loads of emotion. It might have felt really overwhelming. Now you have the time and the context and the repercussions of what might have happened after that event. You can start to see it in a new light. And so I am going to teach you the art of seeing things in the new light and the art of reflection. So you can go into the new year knowing what you actually need to work on and knowing what you need to remind yourself about so you can stay on track with being the best version of yourself. And this isn't affirmations or random sentences. This is based on data and insight from your actual life. Okay, so first let's define what reflection actually is. It is a thing that is a consequence or arises from something else. So reflecting isn't just a list that we need to remember. We're actually reading in between the lines to understand the effects and the consequences of actions that we've taken. And remember, you don't just have to do this once a year. You can do it monthly, you can do it quarterly, because the richness of your memories will actually shift. That will help you to understand and define other patterns, but today we're going to focus on the yearly reflection. So what I want you to do first is break your life into 4 areas: self, health, relationships, and work. Health is about fitness, nutrition, sleep. Self is about confidence, clarity, mental health, hobbies, spirituality, and then relationships is about romantic and platonic relationships. Work, pretty self-explanatory. And so naturally with some of them things there's going to be overlaps, and that is completely fine. This process isn't about perfection. It's about getting your thoughts down and being able to see them from a different perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to take health as an example. So the first thing is write down everything that went well in your health. So anything big, anything small. It can be something that happened in a particular month. It can be something that you did for a particular amount of time. It can be something that you felt like you really tried in. So to give you some examples for what I did, at the beginning of the summer, I did FODMAP for a few weeks, which really improved my IBS. I've got into a really regular strength-based routine this year. And I also bought a big bottle and started filling it with electrolytes every day. I also listened to my body more. And in the second half of the year, I slept when my body felt it needed sleep. So I'm writing down all of these things that went well. The second thing I do is I then do everything that either didn't go well, times where I dropped the ball, times where I felt like I didn't show up for myself, and times that I lost motivation. Again, big or small, write it down. So for me, this might be that I pushed my body with too much high intensity exercise at the beginning of the year, which contributed to me burning out. It also was that on holiday, I ate foods that I knew weren't good for me. Left me with some repercussions, but I did it anyway. Sometimes this year I've resisted going on a walk or doing any movement, even though I knew it would be good for me in that moment. And I have to admit, I did become a little bit addicted to sugar, and I know that's not good for my hormones, but it's gone down on the list. Now you've done that list, and it can be as long as short as you like. I'd say go for 5 minutes per section. So you can also do themes across all of the sections. And these are themes that are going to be positive and negative. So some of the themes that came up for me, when I try to do too much over summer, a lot of the things that are important to me actually fall off. And I don't really want that, but that was a theme. Another one was when I get up early, across the board, things fall into place better. So some of these themes might be a theme across two, a theme across all of them, a theme within one area. And so again, it's just about being with all of this information and just writing down whatever comes up. This allows you to stop beating yourself up about something, because now you may have seen the common thread about why it's actually happening. It also helps you give context to something else that might have happened. So for example, when my family were going through a stressful period, my work fell off. And actually now you can start to consciously draw them lines. So at a time where it might have came up and felt really overwhelming, you may not have realized, but now you have that time and that context, you can see it back through a more logical mind, and that can then help you reflect better about what to do next time. Another thing to note is themes might not directly come up from what's written down. You might look at something and then that triggers another memory that you hadn't consciously realized. And so then you can start to piece other things together. And so once you've identified these themes, now what do? So now this is where you start to set the intentions. So these intentions are reminders through the information that you have generated yourself, is through what I know last year, what do I want to take into my 2026? And this has been honestly game-changing for me. It's made me realize the best work for me happens in the morning. It made me realize this massive resistance that I was feeling on a project, that I was able to take a step back from it, let go of it, and not feel this guilt and shame around it. I could see from the themes that that is what I needed to do. And then I could reaffirm this intention to myself, which is actually building self-trust. It also helped me to realize where I was pouring more into relationships than I was actually receiving. So these intentions aren't affirmations, they're reminders of what you already know is true. And this helps build self-trust. It also brings your conscious awareness back online and stops you from being caught in these subconscious loops and old memories that are often running the show. And research shows that reflection can improve performance and motivation by up to 25%. So it's literally strengthening the learning and growth process. Another thing with intentions is they should come from compassion, not from rigidity. You don't want to have shoulds or have tos. So this is what you might want them to sound like. You are the best version of yourself when you start work early. When someone else's voice comes into your head when you're thinking about the next move in your business, make sure you pause before you take action. The most important thing is keep them simple and keep them relevant to you. So, okay, now you've got your intentions. So what do you actually do with them? The most important thing is keep them visible. Write them in a journal, put them in your vision board, put them on your home screen on your phone, and even better, keep them next to your core values, because whenever you feel like you're slipping or you're going back into a negative mindset or you're feeling a bit lost, you can come back to these intentions because they really focus on the basic building blocks of what you know to be true about how to grow and move forward. Another idea is incorporating intentions into a meditation practice. So if you've got an intention that you really want to remind yourself of, sitting with yourself, shutting down the eyes, breathing in and telling yourself the intention in your mind, and breathing out and telling your intention in your mind. And if you do this as you take deep breaths into your belly, slowing down your nervous system, I guarantee you're going to start to notice the difference. So today I've been telling you about the part that everyone misses when they go into their new year and how to learn the art of reflection. So the things that we covered are: step 1, bringing the conscious awareness to what actually happened so you can stop repeating negative patterns. Step 2, listing everything, the good, the bad, the big, the small, across the 4 different sections. And number 3, noticing the common themes between them. And finally, step 4, using those themes to create intentions that motivate, inspire, and build self-trust within you. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more practical tips. I'm starting a community that does just that, pairing mindset with well-being and everything in between. So I really hope to see you on the next video. And being around friends brings you energy, but you actually don't need a lot of it to fill your cup up.